Hello and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd and you are watching Boyd News. I want to thank you all for tuning in today. If you don't mind, guys, take 2 seconds to smash that like button. It really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. That way this video can get pushed out to more people and more viewers can see it just like you're seeing today. And also, if you're enjoying my content, guys, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. That way YouTube will notify you whenever we put out new updates. We do put out daily updates, several videos a day, so you'll be notified if you're subscribed. So thank you again so much for tuning in, guys. I've got some information here regarding Ukraine. Things are not looking good over there. They really need a lot of help, and they're not getting a lot of help right now. It appears that Zelensky has been traveling around to try to get some help. He just came from the Baltics recently. He went to Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania to drum up support over there. He did get a few aid packages from those countries over there, but aside from that, he's not getting a whole lot of help. The UK has announced some funding as well, about 2.5 billion in funding, and some drone factories that are going to be built to help Ukraine. But aside from that, they're not really getting a whole lot. And I want to get into this article here that is really big news because right now, it appears that all funding for Ukraine is completely halted. Okay, so the United States is not giving them anything right now. There's a 60 billion aid package held up in Congress that has not been passed yet, and any other funding is all dried up. We have no support for Ukraine right now, so I'm sure Zelensky is feeling the pressure right now. Especially, they have been under heavy bombardment. I believe today, just on January 12th, 2024, they were under heavy bombardment again. So they're getting attacked almost every day, guys, and these attacks are increasing. Just over the past month or so, we've been seeing these attacks from Russia becoming larger. So they're definitely trying to burn Ukraine out and basically force them to surrender is what it seems like they're trying to do, and they're definitely playing the long game here. But Zelensky and Ukraine, they really need air defense right now. They don't have a lot of air defense, so a lot of these missiles and artillery, everything is it's coming right in and just completely destroying towns. There's not a lot of media coverage on this stuff right now, but they're being attacked heavily all the time, guys, and obviously all the attention is directed towards the Middle East right now with what's happening with the Houthis, and also Israel and Hezbollah and Gaza and all that mess. But Ukraine's still up here fighting this war, guys, and they're in desperate need right now. They don't have a lot of troops, they don't have a lot of supplies, they don't have much of anything. And there's just a lot of warnings coming out over here that there's a possibility in the near future, like Ukraine could just completely lose this war, guys. Like it's really not looking good over here, especially if they don't get help from us. If we don't pass this aid package, they're going to be in big trouble because the amount of help they're getting is nothing compared to what they were receiving, a year ago, or it's not sufficient anymore, guys. So let's get into this article here. White House says U.S. Ukraine assistance has ground to a halt, and the UK announces increased drone funding. U.S. military assistance to Ukraine has ground to a halt, with Congress yet to authorize the emergency spending requested by President Joe Biden's administration in late October. In a White House press briefing on Thursday, National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby said Washington had issued the last drawdown package that we had funding to support. So there is no support going to Ukraine right now, guys. That is it. And that's why it's critical that Congress move on the national security supplemental request and we get more funding. The assistance that we provided now has now ground to a halt, he said. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Thursday thanked Estonia and Latvia after meeting with leaders of two Baltic nations to discuss further military aid and Ukraine's path towards EU and NATO membership. He stated, "We must win this battle, not only for the fate of our country and all nations that border Russia is at stake. What is at stake is how global freedom will be treated now and in the future for our children and grandchildren." Zelensky wrote in a post on X. Uh, the Ukrainian leader on Thursday rejected the idea of a ceasefire with Russia, saying it would benefit Moscow, giving it time to replenish its weapon stocks. So yeah, there was a ceasefire um, that was basically put out there for Zelensky to accept, and he decided to reject it. Okay, and it's because he's worried that it'll give Russia more time to restock and get ready for more of a massive attack. And I think that's what Zelensky's trying to prevent. Because if they have time to like build up their stocks and get their troops together and everything, they may issue a massive attack against Ukraine, and Russia could easily win this war if they do that. So I think they're trying to keep Russia at bay and spread them thin, so that way it makes it more difficult for them to just completely run over Ukraine. So Ukraine's armed forces said on Telegram Friday that 64 combat clashes took place the previous day, with Russian forces launching 3 airstrikes and 16 attacks from rocket salvo systems on Ukrainian positions. So again, so this is Thursday technically. So today's Friday, January 12th, and it looks like they were attacked. 64 combat clashes took place. So they were attacked by airstrikes, rocket salvos, and all kinds of munitions were launched towards Ukraine again just yesterday on Thursday. So they're still under attack, guys. More than 130 settlements in so many different names here. Tons of regions, guys. They were under artillery fire. It looks like more than, 6 or 8 regions here. Donetsk, Zaporizhia, Kherson. Those are just some to name. Kharkiv, Luhansk. So lots of different regions are still being attacked in Ukraine. And as a result of Russian terrorist attacks, unfortunately, there are dead and wounded among the civilian population, the armed forces of Ukraine added. And also, I wanted to just kind of talk about this. So Ukraine's like requesting for, attack jets, basically. So their commander of the ground forces of Ukraine said on Friday that Kyiv needed more military aircraft for its war. Such as A-10 attack jets to support infantry and planes that could fire long-range cruise missiles. So obviously Ukraine's been trying to get jets for the longest time. They're still trying to get more F-16s and stuff like that, but I don't think they're going to get jets. They may at some point, but it looks like this war is really starting to wind down here. I mean, it could pop off like much larger here in the near future, but it really seems like it's starting to wind down here, and especially that Ukraine's not getting a lot of support, especially from the United States. They're just going to struggle even more to keep this war up, and Ukraine has already lost so many troops. I know Russia has lost a lot as well, but Ukraine has just been decimated. Majority of their military has just been destroyed. A whole generation of men have been wiped out from Ukraine. So like, They don't have a whole lot going for themselves anymore, and this war has just been dragging on for so long. You can see how tired, Zelensky looks. He looks completely different than he did just a couple years ago when this whole thing began. So it's definitely putting a strain on them. So I want to talk a little bit about this aid package from Rishi Sunak in the UK. So the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, he went to Kyiv. Just recently, and he vowed that Ukraine will never be alone as the UK announced $2.5 billion of military aid to Ukraine. It's the largest annual commitment since Russia's full invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. Officials said the package will provide Ukraine with long-range missiles, air defense, and artillery shells, and some $200 million will be spent on drones. They said the military package for the next financial year beginning in April would result in largest delivery of drones, which most will be UK made to Ukraine by any country. So it does look like the UK is going to be supplying them some stuff, especially all these drones. It looks like they're going to be building them thousands and thousands of drones to use. So yeah, he's going to be helping them out a little bit, but 2.5 billion pounds is really not going to do a whole lot for Ukraine. It'll hold them up for a little while, but Where they really need help from is from the United States, because we're the ones that give them, 40 billion at a time, 60 billion at a time, and that's what they really need, and that's what's really funding this war effort. So, these little packages from these countries that are handing them over to Ukraine is really not going to do a whole lot, at least not in the short term. So, we'll have to see what happens there. And also, when Rishi Sunak was speaking at Kiev, I want to go over a couple things that he stated here. He said that Putin must understand that no army can defeat free people, and therefore Ukraine must win. Putin, has now reached the point where he has to humiliate himself to ask for weapons from Iran and North Korea. And he also said, we have signed a new partnership. It will build a new future for Ukraine. This is an unbreakable alliance. We will help you win the war. We announced the largest military aid package ever. With a grant of 200 million pounds, we will start the production of drones both in Ukraine and abroad for you. So, yeah, guys, I mean, he's committing quite a bit to Ukraine here. And, it's good that Ukraine is getting some sort of support, I guess. But really what's hurting them the most right now is what's being held up in U.S. Congress. So I also wanted to share here, this is a little scary here with what Rishi Sunak is wanting to do for Ukraine and provide them all this weaponry and build these drones for them in Ukraine and also abroad. Russia's former prime minister, or former president, I should say, Dmitry Medvedev, he put out a warning here just today. He said that any UK troop deployment to Ukraine would be a declaration of war. So I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything saying that the UK was planning on deploying troops, but maybe there's something that I haven't caught that talks about that. But as far as I know, it's just mainly aid and support that's going to Ukraine, not really troops. So not quite sure about that. But yeah, senior ally of President Vladimir Putin warned on Friday that Moscow would regard any move by Britain to deploy a military contingent to to Ukraine as a declaration of war against Russia. So he's basically stating here, if you deploy military contingent to Ukraine, we will declare war on you. And he's also calling the British arrogant, and he's saying that he hopes that our eternal enemies would understand that deploying an official military contingent to Ukraine would be a declaration of war against our country. So Dmitry Medvedev has been coming out and saying some very, very dire warnings here, guys. He also warned just the other day of nuclear war. He said that if Ukraine were to attack their missile launch sites, that he would call that an act of war, and then he would launch, or he would obviously tell Putin to launch nukes. So that would be in violation of their country, and I think it was paragraph 19 they called it. So yeah, I mean, he's been coming out and putting major statements out and warning a lot of things like this that are very scary. So I wanted to share that with you guys just so that you were aware of that. And also, finally, I thought this was very interesting. So the U.S. Did not apparently, they didn't track or properly track more than $1 billion worth of weapons sent to Ukraine. There was a report on this. And this is not the first time this has happened. Wasn't there another time or one or two more times where some money was getting lost? There was billions upon billions of dollars that wasn't tracked going to Ukraine. And then all of a sudden Congress is like, or the Pentagon is saying, oh, great, we found, $3 billion over here that was untracked and, wasn't properly tracked. It's like, I don't understand. This is billions upon billions of weapons and money being funneled to Ukraine and sent over there, but we're not tracking these things properly. Imagine if you're running a business and you did not track, billions of dollars of supplies that you're shipping to another company or whatever. Everybody would be fired. Why does that not happen to people in the Pentagon or, anything like that? Whoever's in charge of managing the money and the supplies that are being sent to Ukraine, why does it seem like they just don't care, or they're not doing their job, well enough, and they're not managing these things? Because to me, this is huge. You know, we're sending like munitions, like missiles and Patriot missiles and all kinds of expensive equipment over there, but we don't have people that are competent enough to manage, where these supplies are going and where the money's going and all that. Like, I don't know. I wanted to share that because that to me is just very strange and I don't understand it. I don't see why people are not, getting fired for this and getting removed from their positions because of these kinds of things. Because if we were to be doing this in any kind of like business or something, you'd be fired. Imagine you did this at work. Like, people get fired over the smallest little things, but yet we can lose billions of dollars of weapons or money or whatever it is going to Ukraine, and it's just like a slap on the wrist. Like, oops, like, wasn't a big deal. We'll just write it off, and we'll just go print more money and send them more supplies. But I just wanted to share that with you guys because I thought that was interesting. I'll link it down below if you guys want to check out the article. But I just wanted to share that with you. So that's the latest on Ukraine. Right now, there's really not a whole lot going on other than that, but I just wanted to update you guys and make sure you guys were aware of this. So if any other information comes out on Ukraine, I will definitely update you guys. And that'll be it for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you all in the next one. Take care. God bless.